And we are live. Welcome to the Rinky Dink Bullshit Podcast with your host, Superfly, Johnny Lee, the podcast god. Now, tonight was supposed to be MWA Appreciation Night. But see, our guests, they thought they was going to be August 17th that they were going to be coming on. Which is okay, because now you got me. And I'm fired up. Because, man, I tell you what, I was looking forward to tonight. And I thought for sure that we were going to have guests tonight. That's why I like to book my guests so I know what to expect. Because when they cancel on me and I don't even know about it until the last second, it gets me a little bit heated. It gets me a little bit fired up. Because I'm telling you what, when I book my guests, I make sure that it's going to be happening right then and there. I do not like having mess ups. But that's okay. We'll get them in another time, I guess. But tonight, it's all about tonight. Because the Rinky Dink Bullshit Podcast is right now on episode 24. And even though it's just me, that's okay. Because I'm going to run you through it. Because even though we can't watch AEW Dynamite, we can just talk about anything that we want tonight. Because tonight ain't got no set limit. Tonight ain't got no problem. Tonight is all about figuring out what we want to do. Now, see, I was looking forward to tonight. But that's okay. We ain't got no guests tonight. We're going to just roll with the punches. Let me see if I can find something for us to watch while we're going on. Because tonight, the Rinky Dink Bullshit Podcast is going off the cuff. Guys, I welcome you all in. Those that are just now tuning in, let me just tell you, I'm the podcast god. And when it's just me by myself, I like to get a little bit heart to heart with all my people. So let me talk to you. Because tonight was supposed to be MWA Appreciation Night for Shane Parker and Kicking Kelly Charles. Neither of them are here. They thought that they were booked for August 17th. That's okay. Because you got me here. And when the punches start to happen, you know that you just got to have a backup plan. And I got a backup plan tonight. Because tonight we're going to watch some old footage of wrestling. We're going to talk. We're going to walk. We're going to do our thing just like we always do. We're going to watch this here rewind just because. Old school. Now, guys, next week we do got the Green family. A legendary family that everybody should know that's been watching Mountain Wrestling Association for years upon years. And for all you younger guys that are tuning in and gals, just know the Green family is one of the most prestigious families that ever graced Kentucky professional wrestling. And yes, Kentucky does have professional wrestling. For those that are tuned in that have not been clued in, we've had some of the best. We've had some that have walked through our doors and are now wrestling anywhere you can think of. I mean, like Ricochet. He's from Paducah, Kentucky. He was on WWE. And Little Bird tells me that he might be at AEW Dynamite. And that's okay. Because he's making his bread and he's making his money. Whether you're a fan of AEW or a fan of WWE, why are you fighting? Just get along. I know that I've been a big critic of AEW here lately, but that's because AEW has one guy doing the booking, one guy doing the creative, one guy doing everything, and won't accept the help of anyone that could have helped him book, create, and also put together things that... Hey, what's up, Daniel Larison? You want to come over here, brother? I'm watching the old WrestleMania Rewind from Peacock. That's where you can basically find most of the old style wrestling. Oh, hey, what's up, James? Yeah, tonight's going to be good. You know we were supposed to have MWA, guys. It's okay. We got WrestleMania Rewind going on right now. Damn, Triple H with hair. That's a way back. I've gotten so used to him being bald now that's almost like a foreign subject just to see him with long hair. And of course, John Cena just had to be there in his old chain gang style. But yeah, we got this rewind going on. We got Bret Hart on the TV. We got Hulk Hogan on the TV from back at WrestleMania 3 when he body slammed Andre Giant. We got Chris Jericho getting knocked the fuck out by Mickey Rourke of The Wrestler at the time. And we got some of the classic celebrities that have walked through that door and given WWE and WrestleMania a little bit of their time. Because when you think about it, WrestleMania needs celebrities. WrestleMania needs wrestling. They go together like this. Two peas in a pod. If you didn't have celebrities, you ain't going to be having fun. It's our Super Bowl. We got all this and more. Every year around April time, it's WrestleMania year. And for some reason, the Royal Rumble is being moved from a slot in January. Yeah, you can, brother. Hold up. Let me send you the address. Up, guys. Let me send Daniel the address. We'll have ourselves a co-host tonight. But yeah, we're watching right now the classic WrestleMania, which is always good. And we also got Hulk Hogan on TV trying to hog the spotlight for some reason. As always, everyone knows Hulk Hogan is a spotlight hog. I mean, he wouldn't even let Macho Man hold his title for long. And anytime Macho Man did win the title, there's only two names that would take the title from him, and one of them was Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan is a jackass. I mean, yeah, he helped WWE and wrestlers learn how to sell their merch and get the marketability out there. But think about it. He kept Macho Man down when Macho Man was champion. Macho Man ain't even got more than what he should have under his name, because Hulk Hogan just has to have inside his crave control that he can tell someone that they're not allowed to have the title longer than him. Sounds good, Daniel. Sounds good. But now, on the TV, we got John Cena. John Cena, some people might say that he's like the Hulk Hogan, but at the same time, you gotta admit, though, he wasn't like Hulk Hogan and Hulk Hogan's whole hog in the spotlight, because Hulk Hogan had incredible control. There's somebody that wasn't Hulk Hogan held the world title longer than him. That ain't gonna work for him, brother. He gonna make sure that they're gonna leave the job, the JLB, for him. But he won't do the JLB for them. I mean, thinking about this. Back in 2005, he was supposed to do the JLB for HBK because they had it inside a contract that both of them was going to get a win over each other. That's not what happened, because Hulk Hogan changed it to his back's hurting him. Brother, he don't feel like he can do another match. Brother, he going to have HBK do the JLB and him go over HBK, and then HBK doesn't even get a comeback at him. And then what happened? HBK took offense to that, and we got the oversell. And it was one hell of an oversell, because he made sure that he was going to oversell for an hour. He made sure Hulk Hogan wasn't going to look good, but he also made sure that he wasn't going to look good himself, because he was pissed. That literally made him angry that Hulk Hogan was trying to make it so that Hulk Hogan was the only one that got to win during that. And if you know anything, two egos is going to make sure that one of them is going to want to come back on it. We'll have a co-host here soon. Daniel Larson will be popping up. That's Dizzle. Little Larry D coming there. And there we see Hulk Hogan inside his classic tag team shirt, because at that time he was teaming up with Mr. T. Over here talking about his Mr. T time at the first WrestleMania. Vince McMahon, get the hell off my screen. Vincent J. McMahon, though, that was a classic guy. Say what you want about VK dumbass, but Vincent J. was the guy that deserves to have a legacy, because he at least had more honor than his son. That dumb son of his. I cannot believe that they had to put that guy inside there, so now I'm going to change it from that, because I don't want to see Mr. VKM. Even though they are saying showing VJM. They got VKM doing more of it. Oh, look at that. We got the recent Monday Night Raw on there. Let's check it out. If they got the full thing, though. Anyone want to tell me what they think about the Wyatt Six? So far, how are you liking it? Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you not like it? Do you dislike it? Do you think that Bo Dallas is taking advantage of his dead brother? I don't, because it is keeping Bray Wyatt's legacy alive. Because the lantern that they're carrying around is the spirit of Bray Wyatt. That is his beacon of light guiding them. And you gotta admit, the VHS that had Eric Rowan talking, if that didn't hit you inside the feels Monday night, I don't know what else will. And also, you know that they're building towards this Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk feud. I think that it's going to be huge at SummerSlam. And I think that Gunther versus Damian Priest is going to be a big match. Hell, the whole card looks like it's fire. If you didn't like what you saw Monday night or in the weeks leading up to it, then I don't know what to tell you, because we're talking about great professional wrestling. We got storylines going in. We got interconnected storylines. We got the Wyatt Six doing their thing. We got Chad Gable finally getting the Creed brothers on his side. And we got to see Bo Dallas do a little bit of the Bray thing, because the laughing that he was doing, if you go back, way back to 2023, maybe even farther than that, you'll see Bray Wyatt himself getting beat up and laughing. As I recall, Firefly Funhouse Bray, he was laughing at one point when he getting attacked. And now that has transcended to Bo Dallas when he was getting his ass beat Monday night. The Wyatt Six was in production before Bray Wyatt's death. If he hadn't died, he would have been a part of this. The Lantern is a sixth member, because the Lantern is Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is there spiritually, not physically. And the Uncle Howdy is the new Fiend, because the Fiend was the split personality of the Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt. Meanwhile, Uncle Howdy is the alter ego of Bo Dallas. I'm telling you, in this week's leading up, we're going to find out even more. I guarantee that we got 3 more VHS tapes to listen to. We got Nikki Cross's, we got Dexter Loomis, we got Gacy's, because they are the other 3. Huskus is Gacy, Mercy is Dexter, and Abby the Witch is Nikki Cross. Abby the Witch was the embodiment of Sister Abigail trapped inside a doll. You go back to a Firehouse Funhouse segment, you will hear her tell Firefly Funhouse Bray, "Let me go." But he can't, because the Fiend was the one that trapped her inside that doll. And now the embodiment of her is on our TVs. You got Nikki Cross moving like a marionette doll. I don't know if people didn't notice this or not, but her movements are just like a marionette doll. And every time she has appeared, that's what you've been seeing, is the marionette style. And Monday night, it seemed like all of them was moving in marionette style, because all of the Firehouse Funhouse puppets are puppets. So, of course, they're going to move like marionettes or puppeteers. So, you got that. Then you got Damian Priest getting dogged by Gunther, which was part of course, because we've heard this before. We've heard Gunther dust down all of his opponents like this before. If you got a poor family, you're going to get talked down like it. You got a poor man, you're going to get talked down like it. If your child is out there and you want them to be happy, he going to dog you about it. And if you're trying to get you that final win, that one time in front of your wife and child, he going to make sure that he not only embarrasses you in front of them, he going to diss you down in front of them. So Damian Priest should have expected what was coming when he was told by Gunther himself how the streets raised him wrong, how his mom and his dad raised him wrong. That is something that Gunther does. That is how he does his style. He will not let you get away with anything. If you are poor, if you are stupid, if you are dumb, he will make sure, without a shadow of doubt, within his heart, to always dog you about it because he feels like he has to. But what is funny is that also you had Damian Priest reply, white privilege. But that's not what that was. That's just Gunther being Gunther. That's who he is at his core. Gunther is the truest heel in all of this because he's not doing this for the people. The people can go to hell for all he cares. This is all about him. All about the ring general and what the ring general does. He held the Intercontinental Championship for 666 days, and he will not let you forget about it. And that's why you must always understand that Gunther is the man forever and always. He started out big and burly, and now he's more muscular, and when he chops, you can still hear that shit. I don't care what nobody says. They're trying to say that his chops have lost their strength, but they have not. If you're sitting inside front row and you see him chop, you're going to hear that shit. When you're on TV, you're going to hear that shit. And now you got Seth Rollins in the ring from Monday Night Raw. And of course, he's wearing his Derby suit. The same suit that we saw him wear for the Kentucky Derby. Because yes, he was here in Lexington, Kentucky. At Louisville, Kentucky at the Derby. And he's wearing that exact same outfit Monday Night Raw. My God. Look at this man styling and profiling. But what's funny is that when he did wear this outfit the first time, everyone thought they went bald. They thought they shaved his head just because he couldn't see his hair. And that was not true because he still has his hair. And here he is trying to talk his crap. He's trying to do his thing. Remind everyone that even though he's not the World Heavyweight Champion, he is still the top dog on Monday Night Raw. But here's the thing. No longer is he going for the WHC because he's got to wait to see who's going to be WHC after SummerSlam. You're either going to have Damian Priest retain or you're going to have Gunther walk through Damian Priest. Anything can happen. And since we know that the gentleman's agreement is gone now because Damian Priest and Seth agreed that it no longer mattered, we're going to see them in a title defense eventually. But it could be Gunther that walks with the title. So therefore, Seth Rollins, either way, I don't think that's going to end well for you, brother. You got to remember, your back was hurting you, your leg was hurting you, everything about your body is broken. And either it be Damian or it be Gunther. There is no safe haven for you, brother. You are in the midst of something that you do not want to be a part of, especially Gunther, because Gunther has this thing where he likes to make you tap out. He won almost all of his King of the Ring tournament matches by submission. He only won the last match with a roll-up. But any other time, he was winning with a submission. And what do we know that Seth Rollins is dealing with that can be exploited? It's his leg. The leg that he came back on. The leg that has been injured before. Seth Rollins, if I was you, I would be hoping that Damian Priest retains. I'd be hoping that I don't have to go through what Gunther wants to put me through. Because Gunther, he ain't a man to be played with. He is not going to lie to you. He is keeping true to his word. Because that's what Gunther does. He is the ring general. And even though Ludwig Kaiser's out, we still got Gunther to do his thing. Gunther's going to walk it dry. He's going to stop a mud hole. He's going to break your leg. He's probably going to take that leg and he's going to beat you over the head with it. If I was you, Seth, I'd be wanting Damian Priest to retain all the more because at least With Damian Priest, you're not going to have to worry about a man trying to take your leg out. You're not going to have to worry about a man trying to rip your leg off and beat you over the head with it. You just got to remember, you don't want to wrestle Gunther because he is the man that will make sure that everything he says happens. He told several people that he'd make them tap out. He did it. He told several people that he'd chop them. He's done it. He told people that he'd win the IC title. And he did that. And he also told people that he'd go on to hold the title for 666 days. And that's exactly what he did. So, Seth, I want you to pray for Damian Priest to retain so that you don't have to worry about Gunther staying true to his word, because we already know if Gunther meets you after he beats Damian Priest at SummerSlam, that he's going to tell you that your daughter's going to cry because he's going to make sure that daddy ain't going to be walking no more. And he's going to stay true to that word because Gunther does not lie. Gunther is the type of guy that'll walk it dry. And he will not let you get away with nothing. In fact, he's arrogant. He's cocky. He's the type of guy that'll chop the hell out of you just because he wants to see what your chest will look like. He's the type of guy that'll take your title just because he wants to see what it's like to be champion again. But you know what? This derby outfit really does suit Seth Rollins. And you know, SummerSlam season has been gearing up these last couple of weeks. This is one of the best times for wrestling because we got so much going on. We got the World Heavyweight Championship, the WWE Championship. We got the Women's Championship, the Women's Tag Team Championships. Wait a second. This is Monday Night. Oh, you assholes. This is from Monday Night, Money in the Bank. I ain't watching that. This was supposed to be the one that we already know. Damn. We're going to watch old school then. But anyways, Gunther is my champion. If I had a champion to choose, it's going to be him. Here soon we're going to have our guy. We're going to have Dizzle coming in to join us. Look at that. You got Hacksaw Jim Duggan. This truly is old school style intro. We got all the old school greats. Harley Race. We got Hulk Hogan. Screw Hulk Hogan. He always got to make sure that he's going to take the tie off you. Coco Beware. First got to get Tombstone Pile Drive. And also Ultimate Warrior. My dad's favorite wrestler. Old school, just like old school icon Bobby Blade. Lone Wolf of the MWA. And now we got the old school classic ring. Look at this. We got the red, we got the white, we got the blue ropes. And we got Hercules in the ring. And Harold Finkel, one of the best. I tell you what though. Today's wrestling is some of the best wrestling that you're going to see. Those of you that stopped watching just because the Ruthless Aggression era ended, you don't know what you're missing. We've had better wrestling than we did in the late 90s because the wrestlers then had actual class. And that's the difference, because now we got athletic wrestlers, we got different wrestlers, we got hardcore wrestling, we got all kinds of wrestling that fancies yours. And look at how young Howard Finkel looks. He's got his hair, he got the voice, he got the chin. This man had the voice before Samantha Irvin became such a great announcer. Anyone that ain't heard Howard Finkel, do yourself a favor. That's right, Mike. Harley was the man, because Harley was believable. Harley was tough. Harley could do it all. Harley invented the diving headbutt by accident, but it became a repertoire that he used. And Harley was a king at one point. Harley Race was one of the best NWA champions. He is one of the best step foot in any company that he walked through. And Harley Race is up there with guys like Ric Flair He's up there with guys like Dusty Rhodes. He's up there with Terry Funk, Dory Funk Jr., and all the greats that ever stepped foot inside the ring. Because Hardy Race was tough as nails. And we got Rivera standing there across the ring. Look at that, Jose Luis Rivera. Not a name that you'd believe inside your head was ever inside the WWF ring, but he was. He was inside the ring at one point. This was during a time when WWE was looking for guys that they could call the next best thing. This was during a time when you had Hulk Hogan, Iron Sheik, you had Jake the Snake Roberts, you had Macho Man, you had Iron Sheik, you had King Kong Bundy. All these guys were in the WWF because at this time the WWF was experimental. It hadn't yet become the juggernaut that we know now. It was still coasting off the fact that it once was WWF, Worldwide Wrestling Federation. This was a time when they had yet to have all of the roster that they had. They were having a lot of guys come through. They were testing themselves. They were wrestling to see who was going to get signed. You had Hulk Hogan already because Hulk Hogan kicked off. He beat Iron Sheik to become the first WWF champion. Then you had Sergeant Slaughter. You had Macho Man shows up. Macho Man had already made himself famous with IWC here in Kentucky. And also, before that, you had all these other greats. You had Bruno Sammartino was the WWF champion at one point. There's so much going into this that when you look back, you realize that there's such a rich history that you don't need a VKM to have it. Because VKM was not even the biggest part of the WWF. The history itself writes itself through the wrestlers. Because you had Bruno Sammartino. If we were to count that, we would count him as the beginning of the WWF's legacy. Because then, after that, you get the WWF, and you start seeing the new IC title, which was considered to be Pat Patterson's championship because he won it in back then inside of a tournament. And they said that he was the first official IC champion, so he's the first Intercontinental champion. But then you got Hulk Hogan, he beats Iron Sheik, and he becomes the first champion of WWF, not counting Iron Sheik. God rest him. Because Iron Sheik was the guy that you needed to be your first champion. He was the guy that could carry the company until Hulkamania kicked off. Because he was the heel. He was the one that people hated to see. When they came, they wanted to see Iron Sheik get his ass beat. And who better to do that than an American hero, Hulk Hogan. Who, by the way, for some reason, originally was being told that we're going to make you Hulk Hogan, but we want you to dye your hair red. Now imagine a ginger Hulk Hogan. Me either. But that's exactly what they want. But it kind of reminds you also of something that happened with Ric Flair, because Ric Flair also had to deal with that, because someone wanted him to name him Spartacus and have him dye his hair red, which was stupid because Ric Flair was already an established star. And Ric Flair didn't come to WWF until 1991 or 92. And I still stand by that his Royal Rumble victory was the greatest Royal Rumble that ever happened, because it's for the WWF Championship. You had Ric Flair and you had the all-time greats inside the ring. They set up so well how Ric Flair was going to win, because Ric Flair had been saying for so long, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And what do you know? In a Royal Rumble where there was 29 other men, Ric Flair became the man because he beat the men. Even though he stayed outside the ring most of it, that was smart because that gave him a strategy that none of the other guys had, and it allowed him to become WWF champion for the very first time, and his only time as WWF champion, but it still counts because he still won it. And he's not only just a 16-time champion. In fact, he's actually a 22-time world champion, but WWE only counts his 16 championships they had between WCW, NWA, and the WWF early years. And you know, even though people are hating on Ric Flair right now, they can't deny that Ric Flair was the man from the 80s until 2000s. The man retired. He got a retirement that most wrestlers would love to have. But instead, what he got was the retirement. Then he messed up. TNA offered him some money. He took that deal, and the rest is history. It ruined what we had. We had a perfect retirement for a wrestler of his caliber. And he came back because he didn't have no money to his name. Because if you know Ric Flair, you know that Ric Flair lives his gimmick. Ric Flair was the type of guy to keep a party going all night. He would pay for the drinks. He would pay for the tabs. He would pay for it all. And this guy just bit Rivera's ear. Smart move. Take his ear out. He can't hear what you're about to do next. And also, these are some good punches. This is something that wrestlers need to study, because you can learn a thing or two about the old school way of punching. The art of the punch is kind of lost in these days and age. But if it's done right, it looks good. That was a nice arm drag Rivera just gave him. Oh, the referee's this guy's doing the begging just like Eddie Guerrero. Oh, the guest Chucky's move, they thought they were booked August 17th. So now it's just me, just a podcast god, watching some old school wrestling, because my guests thought they were booked August 17th. I thought for sure that Barry would have confirmed with them to make sure before this week. But that's okay. We'll get them in eventually. But right now we got Rivera applying an arm lock. He's got the arm lock on good. People need to study this, because this is such a good move that if you take that... Oh, he's biting Rivera. Oh, people need to bring that back too, because he bit Rivera's side to make Rivera let go of the arm lock. Now he's trying to pick Rivera up, but Rivera stopped it, so he punched him side gut. Brought him down to the ring. He bit the man's side. You don't bite a man's side and expect the man not to be feeling that. That's the first time that I've seen a man bite a man's side to get out of the move. And now he's stomping him with the gut kick. This man is smart. He took the ribs with a bite, sunk his teeth right in. The referees make the count, but the kick out happens because Rivera was smart. Now he's applying a head scissors to keep Rivera down, because Jose Rivera, is someone that you don't want to give time to do anything. So he's got the head scissors on, and Rivera tried to kick out of it. He's trying to get some leverage so he can get out of it. He's trying to move his hips so he can get up to his feet, but the head scissors so tight that it's keeping him down. He's grounded. He's passing out. His arms up. He don't know what to do. He's trying his best. Oh, he turned around. He found a wrinkle inside the move. He turned around, and now he's back on his knees, and he's got the guy begging. The guy is begging, and he headbutted him. Now he punched him side face. People need to study this. This punch was hard. It took him down. Oh, but now the guy's got the pin on. Rivera kicks out. Shoulder up. Remember, the shoulders have to be down. Shoulders back down. Oh, kick out with both arms this time. Both shoulders are up. And now he's getting on top of Rivera so he can keep him down. Rivera's got the arch up. The bridge is up. Now he jumps on top of Rivera to try to bring it down. Rivera's got him. Rivera gets up. They both still got hands locked. And now it's a test of strength. Now he's using the test of strength on him. Rivera has this match won. He has it felt that he's got it. He knows what he's doing. He's bringing this man's arms to his knees. Oh, but the man used the headbutt to the gut. Oh, and he punches him inside the face. You don't punch your man inside the face like that. Rivera ain't got no chance right now. He just got his head rung with that turnbuckle post. And now, he got his arm around his head again, punched him inside the face. Rivera, inside the ropes. Oh, he's biting him again. This man is hungry for Rivera flesh. This man's flesh is being eaten as we speak. Rivera stands no chance as long as this man is sticking his teeth in. And now he's punching him inside the gut again. Oh, he just threw a punch and knocked Rivera cold cock. Now Rivera's punching him. He's punching him again. He's punching him. Rivera Irish whip. What's he about to do? Guy inside the turnbuckle. Rivera takes a step back because the referee told him to. But now he's telling the fans, yeah, I got this. The fans are, wow, the fans actually looked like they were mad that Rivera was doing something. That fan was angry. He's raising his fist like, no, Rivera, you can't do this. Nice back body drop by Rivera. Just threw the guy onto his back. Now the guy gets back to his feet. Rivera jumps up. Oh! Jumped all the way up onto his shoulders, brings him down, and pins him to get the win. That's one way to get a win. The guy got back to his feet, and immediately Rivera jumped up onto his shoulders, brought him over like a hurricanrana, and then grabbed the legs and hooked him. 1, 2, 3. Rivera has won this match. On to the next match we go. Because Rivera just sunk a win with one of the sneakiest moves I've seen. The fact that he hit a back body drop, then immediately went for that finish, tells me that Rivera had this planned out. Because he brought that man to his shoulders all the way down to the mat, and then he hooked those legs. That's what you call smart. Yes, you did, brother. Yes, you did. But, man, I tell you what, Rivera just got that win with a move that I ain't seen before. I mean, he hit a back body drop immediately, jumped onto the man's shoulders, brought him down to the mat. Hey, there we go. We got the man himself. We got Dizzle inside the house.
How's it going, Johnny?
Nothing much, brother. Just watching some old school wrestling. You ever see a man hit a back body drop and then immediately, after the guy stands up, jump up onto his shoulders and bring him down and then pin?
I have not. I'm sure I'm about to see it.
Yes, because it's right here. Let's see if it's right here. Because, no, right there. Here we go. Because he hit a back body drop, and the guy stands up, and then Rivera, the guy inside red, grabs his shoulder and then jumps up onto the back of his neck, brings him down like he's doing a hurricane, and then hooks his legs for a pin.
Yeah, there's some wrestlers that's just extremely talented in that department.
Exactly. And this is a Japanese wrestler, too. That's what he did.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that was a nice move.
Yeah, he jumped up, brought him down, put all his weight onto him, and then he pinned him. 1, 2, 3. And this is a Japanese wrestler named Jose Luis Rivera.
I haven't heard of him, but I'm also not the wrestling encyclopedia Sean is.
That's true. Speaking of Sean, I would have thought that Sean would have showed up, but he hasn't. But that was a good move. I mean, he hit that back body drop like that, clean as a whistle, and then immediately went for that pin.
Yeah, I see Chucky Smooth asked where the guests are.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't able to make it tonight, but they got one of the best second-hand guests, Dizzle. What's up, Chucky?
That's right. And also MWA. You know about MWA?
Yeah, I've heard of it when back in its heyday when it was one of the most prestigious organizations in all of wrestling.
Yep.
Back through the 60s through the 80s.
Mountain Wrestling Association. That's one of the best promotions. Could have had Bobby Blade, Larry D. You had the Solid Steel, the Green Family. They had tons of them. Chucky Smooth. You had several that people should check out. Because Bobby Blade on his YouTube, he's actually got MWA up on there.
When I was still part of KCW back years ago, I believe that if a Gentleman Jim would have broke into the NWA and WWE, he could have been one of the biggest wrestling managers ever that got to the national stage.
Yes, because Gentleman Jim Chadwick is one of Kentucky's best managers. Everyone will tell you around. You meet Gentleman Jim, you met one of the best that ever come out of Kentucky.
Yeah, he's always told me when I was training and everything, pitch ideas, because you don't know if it's going to be, we'll run with it, or we take this aspect, and let's get into something we want to do, and it could work.
Exactly, because that's what it's all about. Wrestling is an art form. A lot of people don't understand. It's one of the best mediums when you want to forget something bad about your time.
Yeah, when Jeff Vickers or Afterstock was still living, he would always say, come here, even if you don't wrestle, if you're in another crowd, just have a good time and forget about the electric bill you have to pay.
That's right, because that's what wrestling does. It gives you a break from stress. It gives you time to have fun for at least 2 or 3 hours. And that's one of the reasons why we all love professional wrestling.
Yeah, that's true. There was a lot of nights when I didn't wrestle or anything that I was out in the crowd. I just had a blast. With the other trainees. We cut it up afterwards or before the show and goofed off a lot.
That's right, because look at Donnie Green, young. That's Donnie Green. For those that don't know, on the screen we got Donnie Green from NWA. He's on the screen. He looks young as hell because it's from 2005 or 2006. And he's cutting his promo at the old NWA building. Look, Bobby Blade.
The Lone Wolf, Bobby Blade.
Look at this man. Young as hell.
I've brought this up to Bobby every now and again, because when I first started going to watch KCW, he would use to have a shirt that said, "I'm not your role model," and I tell him that time and again as a comment here on the Nice Guy Indie podcast, and I tell him whenever I see him out like at half price books, Game Exchange, or something like that. And,
Hell yeah.
He'd always get a little bit of a kick out of it. And if you're watching, Bobby, how's it going?
That's right, because Bobby Blade's been going through some things lately.
Yeah, I've seen him post on what he's going through. And Bobby, if you ever need anything, you know how to contact me and just reach out.
That's right, because we're always here for you, brother. And we got to set up that Breakfast Club because you can be host of that. Because every now and then, we think about you, brother. And look at that.
Yeah, I seen old Tuffy. I've taken chops from that man, and they are not fun.
Yep. And Sean Johns remembers his with horrifying detail.
Seen a very young, legendary Larry D. Indie legend, TNA star, one of the best all-around guys that's ever stepped foot in the ring.
That's right. I saw a very young Victor Bruiser, too. Victor Bruiser is one of Kentucky's fiercest competitors. He retired last year.
Yeah, I just seen an old picture of Big Al Steel.
That's right. I mean, Al Steel, the man no longer looks like that. But he could probably still go.
Oh, I have no...
Oh, Slick Rick.
I have no doubt that both Al and Bear still go.
And Bear still looks like he could choke slam someone. The Hibernator. Man, look at that old MWA logo. I wish that we had the MWA round still.
I know it's a lot over the decades, and back in the late 2000s and early 2010s, I can't think of the guy's name that had owned it, but he wrestled for KCW from
Chris Hayes?
Yeah, Chris Hayes.
Yep. And then you got Slick Rick there. Slick Rick's still going strong.
For Slick Rick reminds me of a really pretty boy, Michael Buffer.
Yep. That's exactly what he reminds me of. And right now, there he is announcing. I mean, that's what he did recently. If people go back to last Sunday, he was part of the event, biggest wrestling event ever, and he was announcing the entire card. The man's still going strong even now. That's one thing you can say.
Yeah, professional wrestling is something you just have to go to, even if you don't make it to a bigger stage. Just go out and have fun, connect, and like I just said, just have a ton of fun.
That's right, because that's what wrestling's here for. It's art. Go have fun, connect with people, network, get to know everybody, and you will be forming connections, because that's what it's all about.
Yes, it is. I wasn't as passionate about the business as I thought I was when KCW folded, but I had fun while it lasted.
That's right, because KCW Kentucky Championship Wrestling was yet another good promotion besides NWA, and we'd like to bring that logo back, even if it's just to put on shirts for people to have. They have retro KCW shirts.
Yeah, I'd like to see that come back myself. I've thought about maybe getting back into being maybe a manager at some point.
Yeah.
But how my schedule is now, it wouldn't work because I'm working every other weekend now. So if I could get more on a permanent thing where I didn't work weekends, I would definitely do it.
That's true. And I like to see NWA at least make one last appearance, maybe for an anniversary show.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Because that's one of Kentucky's longest tenured promotions.
Yeah, like all the biggest names had come through the MWA. Macho Man.
Yeah.
I think Hulk Hogan, Jerry Lawler, and numerous others had come through the MWA on the circuit.
Exactly. And that's something that we can look forward to maybe inside the future. We'll have to talk to them, maybe get a anniversary show set up, whoever wants to book it, because there's still so many from the NWA that's still around. You still got Donnie Green, you still got Bobby Green, you still got the Steels, you still got everyone that ever walked through that door besides the ones that have passed on from us.
Yep, and I'm sure Larry would come back as a guest, not necessarily wrestling, just make an appearance, maybe manage a few people, help them get off of the ground,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
I mean, I like to see it, because Larry D was part of the NWA. I've seen him several times being the youngest person there besides all the others. You saw young Donnie Green. You saw young Chucky Smooth. Chucky Smooth started out as security guard before he was a wrestler. And he became Kentucky's John Cena.
Yes, he was. And Chucky was always very good in the ring.
Yep.
He would always try and give you advice and everything. try to work with some of the talent before the shows, give them tips on how to better do their characters, everything.
That's right. And look at that. We got Jim and Jim Chadwick with his kendo stick and Bobby Blade together.
I miss being around Gentleman Jim. With his knowledge of the business, 30 plus years at the time of his passing, he helped so many of the young talent in KCW, MWA, any other promotion that had come to Lexington or surrounding counties. He's always willing to talk you through things, to explain how the business worked, how storylines worked, why certain things didn't work. He was just an overall great guy.
That's right. And you got Bobby Blade inside there right now dressed down Slick Rick with the microphone. Because Bobby Blade, he don't care who Slick Rick is.
Me, personally, after seeing Bobby's heel work, I think he was more of a natural heel, just like Jim, than a babyface.
Yeah. Because babyface, it's not easy for a guy that's already good to be able to translate it into a character.
Yeah.
But when you're doing the opposite of being nice, it's easier. Because you're natural at it.
Yeah, there's a few people that in all of wrestling that I think is a better heel, like Triple H, Macho Man, a little bit better heel than face.
Yep.
Rock, he could play both to a T. Ric Flair, better heel than a baby back in his heyday.
Yep.
The list goes on.
Exactly. And look, we got Bobby Green inside the ring, too. Bobby Green, shout out to you. And Bears right there, holding that championship. Because back then, they wouldn't have Bear versus Johnny Green all the time. Wish they should have, though, because they're natural as enemies. But they're also best friends.
Yeah, and sometimes the best rivalries is best friends behind the scenes.
Yep. And look at that kendo stick. That's Jim and Jim Chadwick trademark right there. The kendo stick plus how he was dressed. He got that cheetah printed shirt on, and he's rocking it to a T while dressed down all the MWA idiots out there inside the crowd.
I have a old gentleman, Jim Chadwick story. I had done a Battle Royal that night, so I don't know what Jim said. But he had said something that riled the crowd up so much that night that the crowd, half the crowd literally walked out during the main event.
Oh yeah, I think I remember what he said because Andy was inside the crowd that time, and they all walked out because of what Jim was saying. But what they don't understand is that a heel is gonna say wherever it takes to piss off the crowd.
Yeah, I think Gentleman Jim took it a little bit too far that night.
Yeah.
But he was just trying to grab heat, but I don't understand where it came from, and I think he had to scale it back a little bit since.
Yep, that's true. But sometimes a heel does take it too far. But Jim knew he took it too far, and he adjusted, scaled it back, so that in the future it wouldn't happen again. And Bunny Love, Bobby Green's Love, is right there inside the ring with them. Jim's on the mic just tearing down all the fans. Look at Bear.
Yeah. Bear, his one, well, I wouldn't say one of the regular guys, but he had stepped in the ring to train me and some of the other guys at the time quite a bit.
Hell yeah.
I tell you, one guy that will give you a good workout during training is Larry D.
Yep.
There's been plenty of times that next morning where I woke up sore.
Yep.
But I do think Larry's go on a training was to prepare us the best he could, so we would know what to expect.
Exactly. That's the way to do it, though. It helps you to know what to expect when you're wrestling. And look at that. Jim in his prime was a hell of a worker.
I just wish when Jim would talk, they would get the reaction of the crowd at times to see how much he was working them up.
Yeah, because they're showing Jim, but they're not focusing a little bit on the crowd to see how pissed off they are. Look at that. Bears having to stop Bobby Green from going out there and beating a fan up.
That just reminded me of a rib that both Al and Chucky done to me one time. I was training for a year or more at this point. But I was a heel, Chuck was a baby. I guess Al said, let's mess with a Dizzle. So he throws Chuck out in front of me and was, beating, I was beating him, and all of a sudden, Chuck, he grabbed onto my pants. So I yelled out, "You get off of me, don't grab me like that." And after the show, Chuck came up to me saying, why did you say that? And I told him, y'all were messing with me, so I'm going to mess with y'all back. And that opened the doors with a few of the other guys in the back to joke around with me as well. From my experience with the backstage guys, and whereas still pretty new, pretty green, I don't think they knew how to react to me if on a joking wise. But after that night, we all started it joking a little bit more.
Hell yeah, because that's the way it is. That's how you build that camaraderie. Because that's the best part. The wrestling is okay, but it's the stories that's told after that.
Yes,
that
it is. It's the stories, the fan interaction, and the interaction backstage.
That's right. Because wrestling may be the top notch, but every wrestler has. Is this a Special Olympics show? Bobby Green, come on. Now, y'all know Dizzle.
Well, if it was the Special Olympics show, Sean would be here.
That's true. Because Sean's got that toe that's still injured.
If it was a really Special Olympics show, Jose would be here.
Yeah, that's true. Jose is. Oh, look, little Larry D. That's you. Playboy in training.
Well, everyone has to start out somewhere.
That's true. And look at that referee. What's up, Dave? What's up? Yep, you're about to come out there as Playboy Little Larry D. That was your wrestling name?
No, I don't think I had done any Little Larry D stuff. I think I only done one MWA show, and that was a Big Battle Royal for one of their Hall of Fame shows.
True.
And It was just a random joke backstage that me and Larry were known as the Beautiful Brothers.
Oh, it's Larry D. That's the little Larry D.
This might have been around the time where Abyss was doing the
Yep.
entire a different personality thing.
Oh, the Joseph Parks.
Yeah.
I remember that because Joseph Park was their big thing. I am coming to third first. Yes, you are, Bobby. And yeah, Abyss was doing the Joseph Park gimmick, gives his split personality time during this time, because this is taking place during 2005.
Yeah, I'd say that was about the time, maybe a few years after.
Yeah, because then he started to become Joseph Park, and they would have someone. Oh, look, the American Eagle with a Patriot mask. Although the funny thing is that they had the Patriot working NWA before.
Yeah, I was watching some old WWE shows when the Patriot was still with them, and this was over a decade ago. But the Patriot first used the entrance music that Kurt Angle had for so many years.
Hell yeah. And look at that. The American Eagle. He's wearing a Patriot mask, but they don't call him Patriot. And Larry D looks completely different.
Yes, he does. So much different going back to the mid-2000s when KCW and MWA was still going pretty good.
Yep. And it's also before he became the best hand in the house. And also had the long hair. This is more the military cut Larry D, the Playboy little Larry D Jr.
Donnie said, "You better not bring your feelings. We are going to have a lot of fun."
That's right. Oh, you mean Bobby Green?
Yeah, Bobby. Sorry, Bobby. Just take it out on Johnny at the 31st.
We never take out our feelings. We've always had fun up here. But now, look at that. Larry D going up that corner. Hey, yeah. He's reacting differently than how he usually does. Nice. He just shoved the American Eagle. American Eagle got up and held his head like, what the hell? That referee looks like a young Jonathan Barnes. I'm going to call him Jonathan Barnes Jr. Who's the guy you have with you? It's Dizzle. He was a former trainee for KCW, Kentucky Championship Wrestling. Larry D was training him. He went by Little Larry D at one point in one Royal Rumble. That's who he is, Bobby. Oh, Larry's got him up on that corner. Larry's going. Oh, he just slapped Larry. Jumps over Larry. Comes off. Nice drop kick by American.
Nice drop kick. Second drop kick.
That's pretty good. He had a game plan for that one.
Yes, he did. Come on, Larry. Grab him. Slam him on his head.
Tried to clothesline, but missed. Oh, spinning shoulder. Oh, got picked up. It's going for a... Oh, the gut buster had hurt. It's probably Mean Gene has a ref RJT. Oh, yes, Johnny does have fun. Keep in mind, Johnny, me and my soon-to-be wife, Tiffany, will come up soon. Go to the studio. Yes, Dave, yes. But look at this. The referee has to get on to Larry because Larry's choking him while he's got him up against that turnbuckle. And now he's trying to unmask him. Trying to reveal who the American Eagle is.
Now he's choking him on the second rope. Come on, Larry. Ease up off the guy.
Poor guy.
Give the guy a chance.
Poor guy ain't got no chance because Larry D's taking advantage of him. Every which way. Oh, suplex. He calling for it. He going for it. Oh. Nice stalling suplex.
I would have done more of a brain bust.
Yes, because a brain buster is more devastating. Because a brain buster, you're driving a man onto his head.
Yeah. Driving him on his head.
Discombobulate him.
Yeah, I would have went with a delayed brain buster.
I would have too, because you're stalling and you're waiting for a moment, and then you're driving him onto his head because you're feeling that blood to his brain. And now, moved out of the way. Kicking him.
Here comes the American Eagle coming back.
Yep, his comeback special. He hit that triangle button. Oh!
And
Larry just tossed him off.
Tossed him like a fly.
And then Larry
folded him up like an accordion.
Yep. Difference between clothesline is a clothesline takes you onto your back. A lariat takes your head off. That's what Larry just hit him with. And his only saving grace was that he got his foot onto the rope.
Yeah, yes, it was. I've seen some hellacious Larry D clotheslines in KCW, and they did not look fun.
Exactly. A lot of people say that they do not like taking Larry D clothesline.
Dave Treadway said Johnny's favorite move of all time is a choke slam.
Yes, the choke slam is one of my favorites, especially the one-handed choke slam, because you're usually getting the two-handed choke slam where you got the guy putting the arm right here, but I like the one where they just grab him by the throat and lift him up seamlessly.
Yeah, it just made the guy look stronger.
Yep, like that one time when Undertaker did it, because he did a version like that before. He also did that when he was choke slamming two people at the same time.
Yes, he did. I think Hulk Hogan at one point done a version of a choke slam that I think wasn't like a choke slam, that he just leaned him back by his neck and just shoved him down.
Yeah, it was the weakest choke slam. Also, don't forget when Hulk Hogan sandbagged down Undertaker during the choke slam spot. All because he didn't want to take a bump onto his back. He was telling him, Taker, man, this don't work for me, brother.
Yeah, that's just stories I've heard. If Hogan didn't like something, Hogan would try and put a stop to it. But that's just what I've heard.
I do know that he did sabotage the HBK versus Hulk Hogan match, because originally it was supposed to be HBK gets a win, Hulk Hogan gets a win. Yeah.
And I think their first one was at
SummerSlam.
Yeah, SummerSlam, when Shawn Michaels just oversold everything Hogan did.
And the reason why he did is because Hulk Hogan was supposed to lose to him that night. Then Hogan gets his win back. Then they have a third match. That's not what happened. Hulk Hogan said he don't feel like he can come and wrestle again, and he changed the finish to where he beats HBK. So HBK's like, you know what? Fuck this motherfucker. Start going back to the old 1990s HBK.
Late 90s HBK.
Yep, and he was letting Hulk Hogan know, you're going to fuck up the finish, then I'm going to fuck up the match.
Yep.
And he did just that.
I still go back and watch that match sometimes, just for the comedy that HBK provided.
Exactly, because his oversell was funny. I mean, you also saw Triple H at one point in 06 do an oversell that was just to pop Ric Flair, because he's just standing there after a boot from Randy. He's just flaring his arms like this, head back, and Shawn's like, Get that, you going to go down. Ric Flair's like, no, moves, do something. Finally, Triple H comes to, shakes his head a little bit, steps forward, and does the Flair bump. That was always a good oversell, too. Sometimes the oversell's funny as hell. Yes, Dave, I gave you that nickname. Yes, his sweet chin music was devastating. But nowadays, people have ruined the super kick.
Yeah, it's used way too much.
Yeah, more than what it was when HBK was doing it.
Yeah, and another move that's become major usage on a weekly basis is the DDT.
Exactly. Because it used to be a good move, but then they start doing DDT way too often, and they diluted it. It's no longer a devastating move. When a guy hits a DDT, the guy's just going to kick out, or he's going to get up immediately after. And that ruined the entire reason why it was invented. Because Jake the Snake accidentally created the move when he was trying to go for a suplex, trips and falls and drives the man's head into the mat. DDT stands for the end. Well, it ain't no more because now the DDT gets kicked out of so many times.
And bone breaking action said awesome thumbnail, really cool.
I appreciate that, Bone Breaker. Made that on the fly because our guys that we were supposed to have wasn't here tonight. When I watched Joe and doing something like it in the money, yeah, that's true. He did do a super kick. I mean, he's been doing a super kick, but not as much as fucking Usos and Young Bucks do. Those guys are the ones that ruined the super kick because they do it. They do it so much that it's gotten other people that do super kicks to do it all the time.
Yep. With switching music, what I heard on how Shawn Michaels had come up with the name was it had something to do with a baseball game.
Yeah.
That the commentators said something to the thing that it chipped them like some sweet chin music, and that's how Shawn Michaels got the name Sweet Chin Music for his super kick.
Yeah, that's a very good story because that's actually a good finishing name too. And who is this? Oh, it's Cousin Jeffro. We know who this is. It's Aftershock and them.
Yeah, I had to think there for a second. Was that Aftershock?
Yep, that was him. I don't like how CM Punk did. No, Dave, it was just deserved because if you go back to January, CM Punk told Drew, as long as there's breath inside his body, Drew McIntyre is never, and I mean never, gonna win the WWE Championship or World Heavyweight Championship ever again. And he's made good on that promise since then. You gotta pay attention to the subtle things, Dave. He won the briefcase, and then CM Punk struck because he knew that the man was trying to get the title. And even though it cost Seth Rollins as well, that's just the name of the game. You gotta get your revenge somehow.
So do you think that it'll be a Punk and McIntyre at SummerSlam in the next week?
I do because Punk's been out for a while, but I feel like he's almost 100%, and it feels like they're leading to that match because we got Punk next week on Monday Night Raw, and it's almost close to that time. SummerSlam's right around the corner.
Yeah, I think it's this coming Saturday.
Yep.
Well, I think this coming Saturday when SummerSlam is.
Yep. And we know that they're going to set up that match, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. We know also that we're going to have Seth Rollins versus CM Punk inside the future because Seth Rollins is starting to get heated because Punk inadvertently is causing friction between the two. Like he had to stop Drew McIntyre from winning. But Seth Rollins inside his head thought that he had the match won, even though he was taken out by Damian Priest, taken out by Drew McIntyre. He was outside. CM Punk comes in, beats the hell out of Drew McIntyre, makes sure that Drew McIntyre doesn't win. And Seth Rollins immediately gets pissed off. So that tells you right there, future match.
Yep. Another match that I'd be looking forward to is eventually Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan.
Yes, that's been built up really well because the last time we saw Rhea, she had a vacator title. Then we start getting all this with Dominic Mysterio. I think that's really well done because they're also paying homage to Eddie Guerrero because there's someone actually put the side by side Eddie Guerrero in China and Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley and Dominic when Dominic was trying to apologize to her, and it went really well together.
I seen that too with the photos with Eddie in China and Dom and Rhea with the roses.
Yep. And then we also saw Rhea post a photo of her with a black rose above her head, and she got her mouth open eating it. Talk about Talk about guess who's back? Mommy's back.
Yeah, I've watched Rhea Ripley ever since her NXT UK
Yep.
days.
And she had long hair before she started having the short hair.
Yeah, at one point she was known as the Australian Charlotte Flair.
Yep. I mean, in a way, she was the Australian Charlotte Flair. She had the blonde hair. It was long, just like Charlotte's. She could wrestle.
Yep.
But there's a difference.
Yeah, Rhea just didn't want to be compared to Charlotte, and that's when she started developing her metal personality.
Yep. Which was better because it showed that even though she was the Charlotte Flair of Australia, she was still the Rhea Ripley, the brutalizer.
Yeah, she's my favorite women's wrestler wrestling right now.
Hell yeah.
Where she's so different.
That's right. You know what? I'm glad Rhea Ripley returned. Because there's so much this storyline with the Judgment Day, Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley can go. Think about it. WWE has gotten so much better since Triple H took over Crave that you got interconnected stories. You got subtle stories. You got stories within stories that you didn't even think were possible. That's right there being dangled in front of you. And also behind the scenes, you see people inside the back that's making you aware that there's certain stories. And you also see the Wild Six puppets are appearing in backstage segments that you have to keep an equal eye on.
Yeah, I can't wait till January when Raw moves to Netflix to see how much more edgier it gets when it goes uncensored.
Me either, because that's a big deal too, because they're making a lot of money off this deal.
Yeah, I think 500 million a year.
Yep, 500 billion, which is not bad. That's actually a good deal for WWE. And it's great to see Aftershock inside this match.
Yes, it is.
And
I'll still.
yep, you got so many guys on here that we're watching around. We're watching old MWA from 2005 when Aftershock was still alive, and you had all these memorable wrestlers wrestling. But that's how it is. Old school wrestling is best wrestling.
Yes, it is because you don't. Everything wasn't as watered down as it is now.
Exactly. And also, you didn't have people doing finishing moves 24/7 and diluting the finish. Hell, you had guys actually trying to invent good moves instead of doing some jackass moves.
One of the moves recently that's the best made up move that I've seen is Soruka's Soul Snatcher.
Yes. It's basically running into a corner, flips and stuns the person.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just a flipping, standing, face planting.
Yep. And it's better because she did it on a ladder. Used the ladder instead of a turnbuckle to run up it and do the Soul Crusher. It's one of the best moves to watch for. Also, Marty Clay's Dead Man's Curve, which he's deadlifting the guy onto his shoulders. Karrion Kross stole that move, by the way.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, because he used it in Lexington, Kentucky. I had known full well that Marty Clay was getting looked at by WWE, and he ended up going and he instead of deadlifting, he puts the guy inside a pump handle position, brings him up onto his shoulders. Then he does the DDT that Marty Clay's been doing. That's Marty Clay's finish, and he's been doing that. Now it's called the Final Testament, even though it was Marty Clay's.
Yeah, that's the thing with wrestling. You can either steal a person's move or just get the permission to use.
Yep. Too bad he didn't ask Marty Clay's permission first. I guess he thought that Marty Clay wouldn't notice. A lot of people noticed, by the way, and they called Marty Clay and let him know, hey, this guy's got your finishing move. Marty Clay went and he watched, and he's like, oh, shit, that is my move.
Yeah, I think that was the same scenario with the GTS.
Yep.
Who was it?
Kenta was getting mad at CM Punk for using GTS, and guess what? He hasn't let it go since. Every now and then, you go on X, Kenta posted a picture of Punk. He's like, how you doing, Punker? I'm still waiting on those royalties. I want my money. That's one hater that would never let it go that his GTS got stolen. Although it was borrowed, actually. But in Kenta's mind, it was stolen. Even though Kenta wasn't using the GTS for a long time. Basically, he stopped doing it for a while. Then when he saw CM Punk doing it, he started doing it again. And then he started hating on Punk every day for the rest of his life. Even when he was no longer Kenta, when he was part of NXT.
Yeah, he became Kushido in
Yep.
WWE?
Yep. And he didn't show no hate during that time. He wasn't even saying anything. But then Punk came back to wrestling in 2021, and lo and behold, Kenta started saying things. Because now, Punk was back in wrestling, using his GTS. First time he saw Punk do it, had to go and comment on Punk's first big match back. Only thing that he took away from it was that Punk used the GTS. Had to go and say, give me my royalties. I just want my money. That's Kenta for you, though. What's up, Caitlin? What's up, Tony Cock? Thanks for tuning in. But you know, that's how wrestling is, though. Moves are borrowed all the time. But it's common courtesy to call and ask.
Permission.
Exactly. Just like if you're going to use a wrestler's move from the past, call that wrestler and ask him if you can use that move. Because there are moves that need to come back. Like, I've seen several moves from old school wrestling that have not been used because the wrestler that used to do them has long since retired or passed away. Always ask permission to use that move. I want to see some of these old moves come back. But it has to happen with respect, though.
Yeah, that's early on in my training. Owl, Bear, Jim, Aftershock said respect the business. Don't do anything inside the ring unless you're told to or you get permission after so long that you've been training.
Exactly. Because that's respect. That's something that the young guys could learn, too.
I have another story, and I don't know if Donnie remembers this, but there was a relatively new guy that started training him, and I told him the same thing. Don't do nothing unless you're told, especially when training.
Exactly.
This kid, when we were all getting in the ring to train, he decides to come in the hard way by himself. No one stretching, no nothing. And I turned around and told him, hey, you don't do that. But Donnie Green was standing right there, and Donnie stood in disbelief.
Exactly.
And Donnie told him every time he gets in the ring from then on, he goes in that way.
Yeah. Meaning no stretching at all.
Yeah.
And that's what people need to understand. You have to stretch before you get inside that ring, because if you don't stretch, well, let's just say it was nice knowing you the next day.
Yeah. You're gonna be extremely sore.
Exactly. Or you could injure yourself because you didn't stretch and you decide that you're going to get in like a hot shot, and now your leg or your ankle or your wrist or your hand or your fingers or your neck or your shoulders or any part of your body has been broken because you decided that you wasn't going to stretch it all and thought that you could handle the weariness and wear and tear of that moment.
Exactly. And where it was, he came in over the ropes. Depending on how the conditions of the ropes were, you could injure yourself a whole lot more.
Yes, especially if the ropes are very tight. Because if you're running the ropes and the ropes are tight and you make one mistake to slip, your head and neck is going to hit the bottom or the middle rope. And let me tell you, it ain't going to feel too damn good.
It never is. I still remember running the ropes on training on how to run them, where I had developed a lot of soreness in my back muscles from it.
Yep, because the ropes are going to bruise you no matter what. I mean, I recently run the ropes during my match for Vandy, and let me tell you, it don't feel good to have them into your back because you're going to be getting bruised up no matter what. You may think that you're ready for it, but once you run those ropes and you feel that pressure hit your back as you're coming off, because you're shooting off, you have to run from one side to the other side into the other side, you're going to get that bruising around your back. It don't matter if you've been ready for this or if you've stretched or if you've trained, if you've done anything, you're still going to get bruised from it.
Yeah, that's just one of the things you have to develop your resistance with.
Exactly. That's why WWE wrestlers, when they wrestle constantly, they're getting used to it. Their body develops calluses that help them get used to the ropes digging into their back.
Looky here. It's a Max Slade and that looks like Casey Chaos.
Yep, it does. Casey Chaos and Max Slade, very young guy. And he's a champion, too. And he's dressed down Slick Rick, too. Slick Rick is not catching a break tonight. He's been dressed down by Bobby Blade, and now he's being dressed down by Max Slade, who's a manager. It's my first time realizing that.
Yeah, it looks like Max Slade's the manager of the guys.
I always thought that he was a wrestler.
For the most part, to my knowledge, he's always been a wrestler. I guess there was a time when he was a manager.
True. And he's managing Casey Chaos. Who's the tag team coming up against him? Casey Chaos with the pink boa.
And look at Chucky there, just chill.
Yep, and that's before Chucky becomes the John Cena.
Yep, the Chucky Smooth that we all he became to know as.
Yep, and long before he had the oh look, it's Ice Train, or as Christian Bones called him, Ice Tray. Everyone knows the story about that one. But yeah, Chucky Smooth, he looks young. He's not wearing the fur coats. He's not wearing the pizzazz. He's just a chilling security guard. This is long before they talked him into becoming a wrestler. Oh look, he's got a blue jacket on. Nice sparkly jacket. And the ladies love him. Too bad Chucky Smooth's gonna come in and steal all that glory.
Yep.
And that's Ice Tray.
Chucky just became one of the top wrestlers in all of Kentucky.
Yep, because he was loved by the fans. Even when he tried to go heel at one point, they wouldn't let it. The fans loved him.
Nope. And I think I've never seen Chucky work any kind of as a heel. He's one guy that I could never see as a heel.
Exactly, because Chucky Smooth is naturally a babyface. He's a good guy. He was the John Cena of Kentucky. The ladies loved him. The children loved him. I'm pretty sure that he could have made the most Make-A-Wishes if he wanted to.
I'm sure he would have.
And there goes Casey Chaos to the outside. And there's Max says how the pink boa. Ice Train. I've heard the stories about him. Especially about Crusher Bones calling him Ice Train. And him saying, "God damn it, my name ain't Ice Train."
I hope all those stories were good about Ice Train.
Yep. I mean, good or bad, Ice Train basically brought the stories onto himself. That's what Bob Blade said. Good or bad, Ice Train brought him onto himself.
Hey, don't call him Ice Train. He might come up in here and take you out.
You know he's dead. But
he might just haunt you.
That's true. Because he doesn't like being called Ice Train. Because his name was Ice Train. And Crusher Bones, being drunk, kept having him passing beers. Kept on saying, "Ice Train, pass me a beer." Finally, Ice Train gets mad. Turns around and yells at him, "God damn, my name ain't Ice Train. It's fucking Ice Train." We've had his son inside the studio several times. Crusher Bones is tripping balls there one on X.
Yeah, if all the guys from back in '05, if they could tell their stories, I'm sure we'd be in for quite a night.
Yep. That's why we got Shane Parker and them. We'll have to get them in. I was disappointed that we didn't get them in tonight, but that's okay. Because there's always a future, because July and August are MWA month. We're putting the spotlight on the wrestlers and the managers. And look at that referee. That referee right there, that's a referee. Got his shirt tucked, just like referee should. He's not making himself the attention of the match. He's not doing it Aubrey Edwards. Aubrey Edwards is always making it about herself. Because if you watch whenever a wrestler does moves, she's always got to do something to make you distracted. Oh, look at that. Casey Cass kicking him inside his ribs.
Ramming his shoulder into his gut.
Yep. Case Chaos is probably still going strong today, too. Oh, nice arm drag.
There he goes, assembling in the round.
Yep. I rip into inverted elbow to the face.
Clothesline followed after.
Yep.
Casey Chaos goes down.
That's something that I like. We need more old school tag team finishes coming up. We need more tag team specials like this. The atomic drop.
And it sends him out of the ring.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now taking it to Casey Chaos's chest.
Yeah, if you go back to the 80s and 90s and even 2000s, all the big stars from those times, they started out in tag teams.
That's right.
Like a Warrior, Sting.
Dingo Warrior, Sting as when they were the
Blade Runners, I
yep.
think.
Yep, the Blade Runners.
I think, with Taker and Sid Vicious as what they call themselves, High Towers or something.
Yep, that's what they were called. And what's funny is that Dan Spivey was the original member. It's just that they need Taker to come in, Mark Callis to be his replacement for a bit.
Yeah, when Taker was in WCW, I bet their jaws just dropped a few years after when they told him that no one would ever pay money to see him wrestle.
Yep, because then he ended up becoming one of the biggest things. I mean, I know people call Sting the icon, but Taker had the better matches. Because once the 90s faded, he had good matches in the 90s, except for the ones where he had to be the undead Taker for so long.
Yeah, and it also helps that Undertaker was a rare big man that could actually move.
Yep. And he had some of the best matches to date with Randy Orton, Batista, HBK, Triple H.
Kane back in the late 90s.
Yep. And Kane, when they chose Kane, they hit the nail on the head because they chose someone that was equally as good as him to play his younger brother.
Yeah, from what I've heard in what Kane said himself, that he didn't make that In Your House that night where he debuted as Kane because his friend's car broke down on the highway.
That's dedication, though. He made it and was able to tear that cell door off, and that debut is still considered one of the best debuts in WWE history because he came in, rips the door off, gets inside. Taker's just selling this because Taker's got this look of shock because he's just staring. Kane comes in, raises the hands, throws it down like he would if he was trying to set off his fire. Fire didn't show up, though, but he made up for it by immediately striking The Undertaker.
Yeah, and from what I've heard, when The Undertaker came in, he was supposed to be known as Kane The Undertaker.
That was his original, because on the original tapings, they had it as Kane The Undertaker, Cain, The Undertaker. Then they dropped Kane from the name when he debuted for Survivor Series. And then they revisited the name come 1997 when they had the ideal for a younger brother, and that's where Cane came to be, the Big Red Machine. Where is he now? I haven't seen him. It's because Taker retired. And Kane, he's the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee. They're doing good for themselves, though. Undertaker's got a hot blonde wife in Michelle McCool, and Glenn Jacobs is mayor of Knoxville. I mean, yeah, he says some questionable things that people get mad about, but they can't deny. They need to learn how to separate Kane and Glenn.
Glenn Jacobs.
Exactly, because they're hating on Kane, the character. The Kane character has nothing to do with what Glenn Jacobs does. Glenn Jacobs is doing everything outside of the character. But the character itself was fire.
Dave said he knew about Undertaker.
That's true, because Undertaker retired, and he's right now in Texas heat enjoying himself with that hot blonde wife. I mean, he was married to Sarah before he started getting with Michelle McCool. He divorced Sarah around 07. And then it was around 07 where he started pursuing Michelle McCool. It took them about many months, about 6-7 months, because she kept on putting him off. He was trying his damnedest to try to talk to this girl, trying his damnedest to flirt with her, get to know her, take her on dates, and she just kept on pushing him off because she didn't want to be known as the bitch that's sleeping with one of the top guys and getting her spot. And lo and behold, here she is now, married to the Undertaker still. They got kids. Undertaker has kids from previous marriages. And he's living the good life. That's more than what most people say. And also, he got the biggest pop at WrestleMania 40. Because even though people wanted Stone Cold Steve Austin, you got to admit, the real final boss, meeting the final boss of The Rock, was one of the best moments that ever happened this year.
Yeah, because so many years, the Undertaker was the locker room leader.
Yep, and him being out there made sense because he did have history with The Rock. He did have history with the Samoan family. The Undertaker wrestled Yokozuna. He wrestled many. He even wrestled Rikishi several times. He made Rikishi famous off the Hell in a Cell at one point. So why wouldn't he be a perfect choice if you can't have Stone Cold Steve Austin? Because, really, the only history that Stone Cold had would have been with The Rock. But with Undertaker, he got complete history because he's got BSK on his stomach here, which is got Yokozuna a part of it. He's also wrestled The Rock. He's wrestled Rikishi. He's wrestled damn near every Samoan besides the newer age ones. He's the perfect one to come out that night and choke slam The Rock because he was helping Cody Rhodes cement his story the way it should have been. That's right. Hell in a Cell, Dave. That's right. And Mankind was. I was shocked that none of kids want to be in the ring, be in the WWE. Hey, Mick Foley's kids would have been, but Noelle is doing her thing, and Mick Foley's still around. He's in OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling right now. Sometimes a commentary, sometimes doing promos, sometimes setting up for a match, although he had to cancel the match because he was going for a death match.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when the kids of wrestlers want to get into the business, I think they try to tell them to drive them away from it.
Yeah, because sometimes a wrestler doesn't want their kids to follow in their footsteps.
Not just that, because they know it's a bit of a hard life.
Yep. And a sacrifice.
Being away from a family and messing up your body for later in life.
Yeah, especially because that's wooden boards that you're being driven on. That's not a trampoline. That's not a mattress. That is wooden boards.
Yeah, and over top of a lot of
Yep.
steel beams.
Yep, and sometimes you're going to get thrown out of the ring, and instead of hitting the floor with a thud, sometimes you're going to hit the apron, which is a steel beam and wood and boards that they ain't got no give. So when you hit them, you better hope that your back don't hurt and that your ribs don't break. Because I'm telling you, that's real steel beams. That's right, Dave, Bob Orton, and Randy. Well, Randy Orton could handle it. Randy Orton wanted to be a wrestler. Okay? Randy Orton has proven that he is one of the greats of professional wrestling. And Tommaso Ciampa keeps on trying to RKO him, and he keeps on failing because he keeps on shouting out, RKO out of nowhere, giving Randy Orton a clue as to what's coming.
Yeah, that's just some good, clean fun.
Yep.
A lot like R-Truth and the Judgment Day.
Yep. And that was actually Damien Priest's idea. Damien Priest actually wanted to work with R-Truth. And that added a little bit of spark to Judgment Day for a while, because for a while they had nothing going for them.
Yeah,
So with R-Truth, it gave them stuff.
Yeah, I think R-Truth is either a vampire or he's found the fountain of youth, because he still looks like he's 30 years old.
He does.
Even though he's, what, 53, 54
Yep.
or something?
He is 50-something, and this man looks like he's still 20. This man has found the fountain of youth, but he probably is a vampire. He just ain't going to show us his fangs.
And you got to remember, he's, what, this 60-time 24/7 champion?
Yep, 63-time champion. He's beaten Raven's record, because Raven had, I think, about 50-something hardcore championship reigns that he had from the early 2000s all the way till the belt was discontinued. So he's beaten him. He's beaten that record. And he's awesome for it. You remember when we were growing up? I hate him, now I respect him. Yes, I remember that you hated on Randy Orton. Well, let me tell you something, Dave. You were only hating on him because he was a pretty boy and you didn't like it. Well, you're lucky that he didn't hear all the things you'd say about him. Well, you would have gotten an RKO. And when he got an RKO, your neck would have been broken, because the man knows how to RKO you so hard, your neck's going to break off in the seams. Just remember that. That's Randall Keith Orton. 3 most deadliest letters inside of sports entertainment. Oh, look, Tuffy versus Victor. Oh, ho, ho. Hard-hitting match right here. Victor Bruce versus Tuffy.
Now, if I ever had a match against Tuffy, all he would have to do is just give me one chop, and I'd go down for the count.
Yes. And then he would have got the win after that chop. Look at Chuck over there. Look at Chuck got that microphone in hand. Just chilling like a villain. Yeah, he was going after he was going after Undertaker, but guess what? That builds up. Oh, Victor Bruiser still looks like that, by the way. Victor Bruiser must also have the Fountain of Youth because he still looks like that. But yeah, the Undertaker was going after Randy Orton, but guess what? Randy Orton was the one that rested in peace. Twice. First time was at WrestleMania 21. Second time was at Armageddon Hell in a Cell when he beat the hell out of both Bob Orton and Randy Orton. Made them both bleed. But that's also when Bob Orton had hepatitis C and he didn't tell nobody. They had to find out later. And Bob Orton had already been bleeding.
Yeah, I'm sure that went over well with everyone.
Yes. It was a horrible situation because when you bleed, you have hepatitis C and another person's bleeding, well, you fucked their life up. Thank God no one caught it. But then again, that's Bob Orton for you. The guy that always had the cast. Randy Orton's great, but his dad's a bit of a cheater. He likes to use cast on his wrist all the time. In fact, he still uses that damn cast.
Yeah, I've always heard that it took like 2 years for his arm to heal from it being broken.
Yep. And he's still wearing that cast no matter what. Because I've seen him, when he came back to wrestle, he had the cast. When he left, he had the cast. When he came back in 2005, he had the cast. This man was born to have a cast on his arm for the rest of his life. And Tuffy Jr.
Look
is
at
in
him
chaps.
wearing those chops.
Yep. And also, that's what Tony Crowd now wears, is the chaps. But he's also got the chops. This man looks like someone that you do not want to meet inside a dark alley because he'll chop the fuck out of you. He might chop the wall and put a dent inside of it. It might explode upon impact.
I place his chops up there with Ric Flair's.
Yep, but I think that they're stronger than Ric Flair's chops.
Yeah, I think so as well. Because I've heard some of the other guys' stories that Tuffy's handprint would stay on their chest or back for days on end.
Yep. Whereas Ric Flair's chops, they'd hit, but they wasn't hitting that hard. The only way we can know for sure is if we got Ric Flair and Tuffy to do a chop battle. Whoever stops chopping first is the winner.
And whenever that happens, I'd have to say Sean has to be the pinata.
Yes, he has to be the piano. Because that's how the only way to test out whose handprint's going to be lasting longer.
Because we know Sean's the toughest SOB for the Andy's Nice Cow podcast.
That's right. And also because he's taking a Tuffy chop already. Tuffy had him take his shirt and put it over his head and then licked his hand and wham, chopped it. And he still has nightmares about it. In fact, he wakes up in cold sweat thinking that Tuffy is inside the room with him. And who knows, maybe Tuffy does come to Sean's house once in a while and stands over him while he's sleeping and just whispers to him, I'm going to chop you. And he wakes up in a cold sweat because he keeps on hearing, I'm going to chop you so many times. Who knows? And also, that's a tough guy right there, too. Victor Bruiser, he got some chops.
I think by the time I started training, this was back in 08, 09. He might Victor the Bruiser. I think he might have retired or had at least moved on from KCW because I don't remember him being around any of the shows.
Yeah. And now he's retired, but he was still going strong from 2022 until his retirement. Look at that. He's getting up inside referee's face like, I got till 5. Referee's like, I'm just doing my damn job. This is rare to see Tuffy versus Victor Bruiser too.
Yeah, Vic the Bruiser, he almost gives me the vibe of maybe Abdallah the Butcher and a little bit of Rikishi mixed together.
Yeah, he's got that feel about him. He's got the blonde hair. He's got the Abdullah the Butcher status quo. He's strong. He's powerful, and he's also a comic book fan. We had him on the show before.
I've heard Mick Foley tell a story. This was back in I guess the 70s and 80s before way before the internet and everything. Even the big wrestling magazines.
Yeah.
That he would tell people that Abdallah the Butcher was his adoptive father, and people would be scared to death of him then.
I believe it. Look at that. He's got Tuffy out inside that corner. Chopping him. There's a chop. Better watch out. Vic, he'll give you a chop back. That's a receipt. Oh,
Ooh, nice
arm drag. Got it locked in too. He's keeping the pressure on that shoulder. Taking that joint for a ride. He better watch out though, because Tuffy could chop him while he's down there too.
Yeah, the matches I've seen Tuffy in, once Tuffy got going, not with chops or anything, but just really got going, as the match progressed and picked up his pace, he was kind of hard to keep up with.
Yep. And look at this. He's got Victor Bruiser down. He's working that arm. He's got it locked in. Now he's getting up because the referee was doing the count. Now he's elevating. Keeping that arm held down tight. Getting up. Oh!
Ooh,
drops the leg drop onto it. That had to hurt because he's working that arm and he's just leg dropped it. This is why Tuffy's so dangerous. Give him a chance and he'll work the body part.
Yeah, he's just a big guy, a guy that like to pick you apart.
That's right. That's what he. Oh, damn! The double chop. That's one of his very rare double chop, because usually he chops you with one hand. I guess for this one he. Oh, nice thrust kick by Victor Bruiser.
Got him right up under the chin.
Yep, and then he took a little breather down at the bottom corner. Oh, he's going up top. Going up that middle rope. This is not a good position to be in. Oh, leg drop on the Tuffy. Victor Bruiser just took that man's head off.
They're one of the battle royals that I worked. I can't remember who told me to do it. I think it might have been Owl or maybe even Bear, but they had said when you're in the battle royal, you go give Chucky a chop, then get thrown out. And I was like, nah, I still want to live to see tomorrow. That's another thing that I was taught early on. Don't chop a veteran unless they tell you to chop them.
That's right. Always listen to what a veteran says, because that's respect. They've been in it longer than you. You don't get to call nothing until you have at least earned the right to.
Yeah, Aftershock, he had told all of us that were training at the time that he primarily called all the matches unless you showed him that you held your own and that you knew a lot on what you were doing.
Exactly. And guys, we're coming up to the end of the show. And this is where we say our goodbyes. You want to do the honors, Dizzle?
Well, everyone, you all have a good night, and you can always send stars to the nice guy in the podcast. Help the podcast out. And we'll see you the next time.
That's right. Because next week we got the Green family legacy coming up. And y'all don't want to miss that because that's the NWA's Green family. We got Bobby. We got Donnie. We got Lexi. We got Tommy Green coming in. And that's going to be a damn good one. I'm Superfly John Lee, the podcast god. And I appreciate everyone that's been tuning, everyone that's been commenting, and everyone stay nice.
Nice Guy Andy Podcast.
This is a Zodiac. I'm telling you now, meditate, elevate, and dominate. Do it with the Nice Guy Indie Podcast.
What your mama said.
Hell yeah. Thanks, man.
You guys go on your little rinky-dink bullshit podcast.
We outie, we outie.